Welcome to the Melanated Mess podcast. It's your girl Adriana here to talk about how veterans have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and how they are maneuvering through what we are going through as a country and also as a just world in general. Here I have with me Frank. He doesn't want his last name to be disclosed, but he is a veteran of 4 years. He did 4 years with the service, and he wanted to speak about his experience maneuvering through the pandemic, life after being in the armed forces, and what he's doing now with his time. Here's Frank, and I'm asking him about if he knows about the veteran affairs that have been implemented to help veterans who have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. I wanted to ask him if he knew anything about it, so he's going to give that insight and more. So check it out. Inform me a little bit. There is the veteran. I'm going to ask a question again. So he doesn't know about the veteran assistance program, but I'm going to inform him on what it is now. I read an article from the Veteran Affairs article. It says the VA expands funding for emergency response for veterans experiencing or at risk of homelessness during the COVID-19 pandemic. So that's something you can definitely look into. What are your thoughts about that?
I would not doubt if that program is very good, because helping out some veterans about to become homeless, that's some really good stuff. Mm-hmm. But I myself, to be honest, I'm living with my parents. It's kind of shaving off some of that money that I don't have to spend, So I'm saving some money just by living with my parents and my brothers. So I myself am in no need to utilize that particular assistance.
Okay. Do you know anyone who would need the assistance because they're homeless by any chance and they are veterans?
Most of the homeless that I do come in contact with that are not veterans, so I cannot give out such information.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure about you or if you know about it, but at the end of my shift, I'll take whatever leftover pizzas in the store, throw it in the trunk of my car, and just kind of cruise around looking to see if I can find any homeless. And if I do, more often than not, they're asleep. But if I do, I'll park my car, walk up, put a pizza next to them, and walk off.
That's so nice of you to give back. And you're already giving enough to the country. You're still giving back too. Do you think the life after being in the armed forces is good? Do you think it's a hard transition?
It's an extremely hard transition. I ain't gonna lie about that. The transition is so damn hard. My job in the Air Force was a 2T2. If you don't want to look that up, it's essentially, in civilian terms, FedEx Air. My job was to take cargo, put it on a 108 by 88 inch pallet, strap it down, and then shove it on the plane. I organized what cargo was going to certain location, and make sure the plane contour of the pallet was correct for whatever particular plane it could go on. And that was most of my job for the first 3 years of my military service. Mm-hmm. The last 2 years of which was essentially FedEx Hazardous Cargo, of which I had to check the compatibility through the different hazardous cargos. So Class 8 cargo, that's, if I'm remembering this correct, Class 8 cargo is corrosive. Class 9 is miscellaneous. There's two different kinds of Class 2 cargo. There's flammable and non-flammable. When flammable Class 2 gets together with Class 8, that's a no-go. You can't ship that together. At the very least, not on the same pallet.
It's a big hazard, like something could blow up.
Oh yeah, if a corrosive gets onto a canister of flammable, and in that high, not high, but in that pressurized airplane while it's flying, boom.
I won't want that now.
But anyway, back to your question. You asked the transition. It's hard. I tried putting in with FedEx. I tried putting in with UPS. I've tried putting in with USPS. I couldn't get a job for shit that I knew.
That's crazy.
You and I worked together at the local pizza joint trying to keep like business names out of it. But you and I worked together as drivers at the local pizza joint. This is the first job that said you're hired.
Wow. As much as you've done. So you think they should have a better program for veterans that come out of the services to find better jobs? Do you think that?
I think they should. Me personally, the military statistics might be just a little skewed because every business says, well, we prefer veterans because we know they'll be on time. We know they'll do their job well. Guess what? I couldn't get a job at what I already knew, so I had to be a delivery boy for the pizza company.
Just to make ends meet.
Just to meet my freaking ends.
And the thing is,
I'm trying not to cuss.
No, I appreciate that. Because the thing is, they always ask on applications, are you a veteran of the armed forces? If so, da-da-da. So that's why they ask, right? Is that what they ask? Because, like, they want to know if you'll be timely, on time, and is there certain paperwork you have to sign if you're a veteran, too?
Not necessarily sign. It's more or less, hey, are you? Yes, check that box. Depending on the company and whether or not, more specifically, if it's like government work, they will ask to see your DD-214. That's the form the military gives you after you've been relieved of duty. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten mine yet. It's been about 2 years.
We look into that.
I'm like, where is my shit?
Right. Well, do you have any advice for veterans who are struggling to maneuver through this life outside of the armed forces?
That's kind of a toughie because I just kind of started applying to whatever was close and picked up the first thing that said yes, of which local pizza joint, again, trying to keep the business names out of it. Our pizza joint was the first and so far only one to even flip and contact me about a job.
That's bad. That doesn't make any sense. And you have experience with shipping things, paperwork, and having the barcodes and sending it off, and they still have yet to call you back. That's crazy. That's something that has to change. Has things been different and hard to adjust with the pandemic, like having to wash your hands more, wear a mask in stores? What do you think about all that?
Me personally, not as a veteran, but me personally, good hygiene that 9 times out of 10 will help prevent even the common cold or the flu. So think smart, you know. But also do your own research, because I've heard of this one professor, I forget exactly where he was. It might have been like Idaho or Ohio, one of those guys. But he had started a lecture, and one of the things he does at the start of most of his lectures was that he says, hey, do not take my word for this. Do your own research and come up with your own conclusions. But this is what I have found, and masks are not necessary. About a couple weeks later, he had to, like, honestly not entirely sure because details get fuzzy in my mind. But I think he either had to resign or redact his entire class.
Because of that comment?
Because of the topic of
mask, no mask.
Mask, no mask.
And that has even become a political statement. If you don't want to wear a mask, you're on one side. If you do, you're on another side. So it's becoming even more than just a health concern. It's becoming a political concern. That's one thing I noticed about this whole thing too.
Yeah, I was listening on the radio just coming over here. I'm not sure if you yourself listened to it, but the Ben Shapiro show, I found him on the local talk station, and he was saying that state governors were getting like a what's the word I'm looking for?
Pension?
No, not pension. Something to do with like the court. Like the court was saying that, hey, Governor so and so, you enforcing this is a no-go.
Like an appeal? I don't know. I forgot a word. Yeah. But I know what you're talking about, though. I think I heard about that, too.
But
I think our governor in Florida made it mask not mandatory. Did he do that?
I'm not entirely sure.
I'm going to have to look more into that.
I know a couple of times he's made a mandatory, what's the word?
Was it mandate?
No, not mandate. Curfew.
Curfew, yeah. They just lifted the curfew at FAMU, and they lifted the Tallahassee curfew about a month ago. So there were a few curfews. Yeah.
Yeah, I know our governor has done a couple of curfews, of which I'm pretty sure I still have my get out of jail free card in my glove box.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially being a pizza driver.
Yep.
Especially on the weekends, we usually close somewhere close to like, the store officially closed at like 1, but I'm usually there until almost 3.
Yep, pushing those last few pizzas out.
Pushing the last few pizzas out, delivering them, doing closing duties, like cleaning this, cleaning that, and waiting on the manager to finish what he has to do, so that we can both leave safely.
Yep. Yeah, you talking about that whole incident. And the last question before we go, do you see things getting better with this COVID-19 situation that we have going on in the near future?
What's that phrase that people always use? It's going to get worse before it gets better.
That's a good one. It pertains really well to this story, to this whole thing that's going on. Well, thank you so much, Frank, for coming in. Once again, it is the Melanated Mess podcast. Make sure you guys tune in on my SoundCloud, and y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.
See ya.